What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about a few things that are popping up on the chart that could indicate a very big move up for Bitcoin, or at least a pretty big move compared to what we've been used to in this bear market so far. As you guys know, we've been in this bear market for what has felt like forever, with almost no relief at all, or at least no significant relief to the upside. But we are now starting to see some potential bottom signals popping up on the chart. Now, I am not calling the bottom of the bear market here. There is totally a chance that we could come a little bit lower, but with the things popping up on not only the Bitcoin chart, but also some other charts that we'll take a look at. But with these things popping up, it could indicate that if we have not already bottomed, we may have found a significant bottom that could make for a decent move up for Bitcoin in the near future. As we haven't really gotten a bear market rally, or at least a big bear market rally, it may be time for that coming up soon, and we're going to be covering a few things popping up on the charts that could be pointing in that direction. But before we get into it, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of these macro market updates or urgent short-term market updates that we upload to the channel. Now, one of the things that we're going to be taking a look at today is actually not even on the Bitcoin chart. Now, I do want to shout out one of our premium Discord members, Jonathan Schaefer, for actually bringing this back to my attention, because this technical signal was something that I was keeping my eye on, but I did not realize that it was actually happening. So shout out to Jonathan Schaefer. Thank you for bringing this back to my attention, because this is definitely something we want to take a look at. And that technical signal is the DXY death cross. For those who might not know, a death cross occurs when you have the 50-day moving average cross below the 200-day moving average, and whenever this pops up on a chart, it typically indicates some downward movement for whatever asset you're looking at. The fact that we're seeing the death cross pop up on the DXY would indicate that there could be some more downside for the strength of the dollar, in which case could wind up being very, very bullish for Bitcoin. So in this video, I kind of just want to take a zoomed out macro approach on Bitcoin and just check in on Bitcoin. Where are we in the macro, and how am I feeling going into 2023? And could these bullish signals actually give us a big move to the upside? And if they do, just how high could they bring us? Towards the end of the video, I will be giving you guys the bear case as well, because as you guys know, technical analysis is never 100% accurate, and all it takes is a black swan event or something to happen in the macro that could easily bring us down. It could be the collapse of another exchange, something happening between two countries, or what have you. These things cannot be predicted a lot of the time and could easily bring Bitcoin back down to its knees. So we will be covering that at the end, but the focus of this video will be on the DXY death cross and some of the other bullish signals that may be indicating that we are finally ready for a bear market rally. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the BLX chart, and now if you don't know what the BLX is, this is basically what you're going to want to look at if you're trying to look at the price action of Bitcoin, basically from inception till current time. A lot of exchanges don't show this much price history, so if you're looking to find the entire history of Bitcoin and you want to look at the chart, you're going to want to look at the BLX. It goes all the way back to 2010, which, as you know, Bitcoin was created to the 2009 financial crisis, so this is basically Bitcoin's price action from inception to current time. So what I've done here is actually marked out all of the DXY death crosses that we've gotten in the past, so we can kind of take a look back in history and see what has happened every other time we've gotten a DXY death cross. So here we are on the DXY. I do want to bring this up real quick just to show you guys the actual death cross. You can see we have right here in red the 50-day moving average, and in green we have the 200-day moving average, and they are now crossing. Now this would indicate further downside for the DXY. The last time we got a death cross here, we actually wound up getting a pretty big spill on the Dixie, and you can see for the most part it did bring us down about 8.8%, which, if I had to guess, probably indicated some upward movement for Bitcoin, but we'll take a look at that in a second. I just want to show you guys kind of how the death cross works. Right here, you can see we did have another one, which did wind up resulting in about a 9% drop in the DXY. And then you can see right here, we actually did get another one, which did wind up resulting in about a 4% drop in the DXY. So you can see, we even got one right here. Now, this wasn't the biggest drop for the DXY, but you can see it still did bring us down about 1.3%, but this is uncommon for the death crosses. Most of these death crosses actually did bring us down much, much more than that. You can see we got one right here that resulted in likely multiple 2%. You can see we got another one right here, dropped us off about another 1.5%. And you can see this one back here actually wound up giving us a pretty big drop of about 6%. And you could actually, argue that was just your initial drop. Actually wound up bringing us down much, much lower as we did come back up a little bit, but then wound up dropping all the way back down to 10%. So not all of them indicate absolute dumps on the DXY. As you can see, this one did not do too much, but we did actually come down a little bit. But now we are getting one currently, guys. So as you can see right here, you got the little cross, and we are starting to come down, almost immediately after that death cross, right? The death cross actually happened on the 6th, and for the past 2 days, we have been going down. Now, let's come back to the BLX and take a look at all of these death crosses that we've gotten on the DXY and see how Bitcoin actually reacted to these, right? Because you will notice that typically we do get big moves up right after that DXY death cross, and we're going to cover why it might actually make sense that right now you can see our current death cross marked in red here. We are starting to get a move to the upside, and we're going to take a look at some other things that might indicate a further move up and why it might make sense for a bear market rally to occur here. So let's come back in time just a little bit here and take a look at the DXY death cross that we actually had occur on Thursday, the 9th of July, 2020. This is actually an example of a DXY death cross that actually wound up instantly resulting in a slight downfall for Bitcoin of about 3%. But it was actually right before a massive 38% pump. Now, I'm just going to go back and back test these to show you guys kind of what has happened. I would just want this to be a clear example of, just because we got that DXY death cross does not mean that we are instantly going to get, a huge move up. We could easily see a move to the downside before a move up. But just in general, DXY death cross before a massive 38% pump. And right here, you could see we had another one on Sunday, January 5th, 2020. And that actually wound up resulting in a 46% pump. Actually happened right as you got the death cross. If you zoom out, you can see that basically, obviously there was a big 38% pump. Then we had that March 2020 move down. I think we all know what was going on there. But it's just another testament to, this doesn't just mean up and away all-time highs, but it could indicate a nice bear market rally, which is essentially what this was. We got that little bear market rally before coming down and almost visiting those lows of the actual 2018 bear market. But long story short, DXY death cross, 40-something% pump, DXY death cross, 30-something% pump. Moving on here, you can see we did get another one right here on Tuesday, May 30th, 2017, resulting in about a 38% pump. And we got another one back here in 2016, which was basically the start of this big rally right here. And you could see it initially wound up hitting for about 13% before taking a little bit of a correction and continuing all the way up for almost a 90% pump. And then we got another one back here in 2015. And this actually wound up resulting in about, almost 100% pump. Are you guys catching a trend here? Typically these do indicate a move to the upside. Even here, this is another example of, we got that DXY death cross, kind of continued sideways, got a little bit of a pump to the upside of about 18% before getting a big dump to the downside. But zooming out, again, that death cross was basically indicating that we were going to go on a massive rally. When you zoom out, this dump to the downside is a little less significant, but it was basically the mark of this giant pump to the upside. Same thing back here. You get the DXY death cross, you actually get a little bit of a dump, but it's essentially marking the beginning of this big move up, which actually wound up, even if you measure from the death cross, about 2,200%. Obviously, Bitcoin has changed a lot since then. This was very early on, super low market cap. recap at this point. So the moves were absolutely explosive. Obviously, you're dealing with logarithmic regression here, so I don't expect the pump to be this big, or I don't even expect this to be, the start of the bull run, absolute mega pump, but it would indicate a good possibility of a decent bear market rally. You could see here again, we got another one back here in about 2010, went sideways. Don't know what this big wick was, but I guess wound up getting a big move to the downside, but this was basically the beginning of this bull market. So just recapping here, death cross, just in general, zooming out, not counting the little dips here and there, death cross essentially resulting in about, I don't know, what is this, 5,300%. Death cross, massive pump. Death cross, massive pump. Now, this is obviously a DXY death cross, not on Bitcoin. DXY death cross, little pump. DXY death cross, pump, right? Well, you can zoom in there. DXY death cross, pump. DXY death cross, pump. And then, this was just a little pump within a bigger pump. Then we got another one here, came up a little bit, came down, but essentially triggered a massive pump. And then right here, death cross, pump, death cross, pump, right? So you do get these little big explosive moves, but they are typically an indication that you are going to get a big move up. You can see this death cross here was essentially the start of the 2021 bull market. So now we have this one. Are we going to get a big move up? Now, there are some other things on the charts that could be pointing in the same direction. So let's go ahead and take a look at those right now. So as you guys can see here, we obviously have been in a pretty deep bear market all the way, you could argue we've been in this bear market all the way since April of 2021, where our real top came in my opinion. Then we came down for a little mini bear market before pumping and getting this weird inflation pump all-time high. And since then, we've essentially just been going straight down with almost no relief at all. We've gotten a slight bit of relief right here, came up about 40%. We got a little pump right here, came up about 48%. And now we could be seeing the start of another pump here. Now, the one thing that I am looking at here is the formation of a potential bullish reversal pattern, and that is going to be a falling wedge that is forming on the higher time frames. Now, typically with a falling wedge, these do break to the upside, hence the term bullish reversal pattern. Typically, you will enter in a downtrend. You'll get a little bing, a little bong, a little bing, a little bong, and then eventually they will break to the upside. Now, this is on a pretty high time frame. This is a pretty macro falling wedge, which could make for a decent bottom. Now, bottom of the bear market, maybe. If not, the bottom of the bear market could be at least a significant bottom where maybe we're going to see a little bit of relief, at least something similar to what we saw here and almost here. That wasn't that big either, but maybe we are going to get a little bit of green price action here. But I do think it's important to realize that this is a pretty macro reversal pattern. And on top of that, you guys, if you watch the channel, you will know we've been looking at the bullish divergence that we actually had confirmed here on the weekly, which is still in play. We have those lower lows on our price action with our higher lows on our momentum waves with the confirmation of that green dot, which is still valid. So this is another really rare macro bullish signal that would indicate some form of a move to the upside. Now, obviously, we are in a bear market, so I say this all the time. The bullish setups are just simply not going to play out as well as they would in a bull market. So you just always want to understand the environment that you're trading in. And because we know we're in a bear market, you do want to take the bullish signals with a grain of salt because bear markets can be brutal. So, but nonetheless, the charts are pointing to the upside. Whether we get a black swan and get another leg to the downside, the bullish signals on the charts are showing themselves. So we have a macro falling wedge, bullish reversal pattern. We also have a bullish divergence forming on the weekly. Not only that, we actually do have this confirmed on the 2-week as well, with our momentum waves giving us those higher lows and price action giving us those lower lows. Again, simply these break to the upside more often than they break to the downside, and they are typically pretty reliable setups. Now, another thing that is kind of giving me the feeling that we could get a little bit of a pump to the upside here in the medium term is the fact that everybody is bearish right now. You guys will remember in 2021, everybody was expecting Bitcoin to go to 100K. Everyone thought it. A lot of people were thinking that this was going to happen. And what happened? Bitcoin never hit 100K. We didn't even really get that close to 100K, and everybody wound up not taking profits where they wanted to, and a lot of people got wrecked. The fact that we have everyone and their grandmother screaming for lower lows, looking for that 12 to 14K range, this would be a perfect time for Bitcoin to kind of skirt back around and move to the upside, leaving the people who did not buy in yet buying at higher prices. So this is just another thing. You'll hear a lot of people say just counter trend the crowd or counter trade the sheep. This is typically something that plays out pretty well. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think lower lows could come. We're going to be taking a look at the bearish case in just a second. But the fact that everybody is super bearish right now, and the fact that we've bled out so much with so little relief so far, the charts are starting to show those bullish divergences, that falling wedge, bullish reversal pattern, and we're getting that DXY death cross. It does look like we could get a little bit of a move to the upside. Now, if we do wind up getting a move up here, guys, where can we expect price to go? So I'm going to go ahead and show you this chart here that I shared with my premium Discord members a few days ago, I guess. Now, the technical breakout target of this falling wedge would bring you up to about that $25,000, $26,000 level, which would be the value area high of these given candles. As you can see, this shaded area. We are analyzing the volume within the range of these candles here, and the value area high comes right in at about $26,500. We also have a golden pocket here too, so that would make for a very, very strong level of resistance. And it's just very interesting that, the breakout target does bring you right up to this level that has tons of confluence, making it a very strong level of resistance. Now, if we go ahead and turn on our visible range volume profile, or the VPVR, you can see here that this does line up pretty well with a low volume gap. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit so you can see this low volume gap. And I'm going to come down to the daily time frame just so we can zoom in a little bit and get a little more of a detailed look here, or a higher resolution view, as I like to say. But you can see here, once we get a break, we actually have a pretty low volume pocket right here. Now, this usually results in a quick move to the upside, right? If you don't have any volume here, typically there's no resistance holding you back. So if we get a breakout of this falling wedge, the next likely target would be, or the nearest term target, between 18,000 and 18,300 is going to give you a little bit of a fight because you do have some highs up here. But that low volume gap here, let me go ahead and hide this real quick. This low volume gap really brings you all the way up to this purple line, which is coming in at about $18,800, between about $18,800 and $19,000. Now, this is a very strong level for more reasons than one. It is the end of this low volume gap and the beginning of this very high volume node, which is likely to be very strong resistance. But it's also, if you go ahead and take your fixed range volume profile and pull a little bit of volume here, you can see that that purple line falls right in between the value area low and the point of control of this previous range that we traded in for quite some time, right? We were stuck in this range for about 146 days. So this is going to be a very strong level of resistance. So if we do get this move up and we are knocking on the door to this low volume gap, we could see price rip through this low volume gap, get a move up to at least 18.8. And if we could get above these levels and flip that macro point of control coming in at about 19,200, if we could flip that to support, that is going to be very, very bullish in my opinion, because then we would be trading in our old range here between about, 18.8 and about $21,680. Obviously, we did come out of the value area, bringing us all the way up to our more macro value area high coming in at about $25,000. So obviously, we're pretty far away from 25K right now, but I do just want to point out, if we get this bullish breakout with all of these bullish confluences, if this does happen, things could get exciting very, very quickly because of the low volume gaps and the technical breakout target of that falling wedge. there are a lot of things pointing in the same direction here. Now, I know there's a lot of confluence here on the bullish end of things, but that does not mean just 100x long your entire account and wait for the moon. There is obviously always going to be a flip side to things. Like I said, we could get a crazy news event. Maybe it's a collapse of another exchange. Maybe it's a big scam, a big hack, whatever it is. Maybe it's conflict between two countries. Maybe it's a sickness that happens. We've seen them happen before. And if we do get one of those, we could easily get another move to the downside, even though the charts are not necessarily pointing that way. But we could see that happen. So let's just cover the small bear case that we have here, because we are still in a bear market and we could easily come lower. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we could expect if we do get another move down. So I'm going to pull up this chart here. Now, this is my cycle chart that I have made. I've shared this on my live streams. I've shared it in my premium Discord. I think I've shared it in the free Discord. But basically, all I did here was marked out the bottoms, the tops, the halvings, the distance between the halvings and the tops and the tops and the bottoms and the tops and the halvings. And I just basically measured everything out so you could get a kind of a roadmap to where you are in the cycles, right? So from halving to halving would be a full cycle. And you could see at the beginning of this halving, we got a big, that's what kicked off the bull run, and then we ran all the way up to about $1,100 before coming all the way back down to about $200, and we were in the bear market here, and then we hit our next halving, which kicked off this bull run in 2017 all the way up to about 19K or 20K, and then we came down into the bear market of 2018. We bottomed out, and then boom, we had the halving over here, which basically kicked off the bull run of 2021 here, and now we are in the bear market of 2023. Or 2022, 2023. So this basically gives you an idea of where we are in the cycle and where we could potentially expect price to really start running back to the upside. And you can see that we are a bit away from the halving, but that doesn't mean that we can't see any green price action. You can see we bottomed out here in December of 2018 before getting a big fake out bull market. So, we are getting pretty close to that level in this bear market where we could potentially get a bear market rally. But what happens if we do get one of these catastrophic events that happen? Where is our next level of support? Now, as you can see, we came down and we tapped this 200-day moving average before losing it, bearishly retesting. We were talking about this on the channel. Hey, this looks like we're bearishly retesting the 200. Might look like we're not going to bottom out here. We might come lower, and then boom, we actually tested it one more time before coming down to the 300-week moving average right here. And now we have lost that and actually bearishly retested it. Are we going to reject from here and potentially visit the 400-week moving average? Not impossible. So you can kind of see a pattern here. We broke down, bearish retest, broke down to the next weekly moving average, bounced, broke through it, bearishly retested, and now are we on our way down here? Now, this would be the bearish case in my opinion. If we do, maybe we come up and test this level again. Also, this would bring us close to that $18,800 level where we would have strong resistance to potentially reject, and that is where we could potentially get a move back down to make a lower low. And it would make a lot of sense. We do have some confluence here. You have the 400-week moving average within perfect confluence with our macro support level here between about 14 and 12K. Now, we've been talking about this range for a while on the channel. We do have a lot of resistance here that we encountered right here, rejected before coming back above it and ripping into the bull market. So if we do get a move back down here, this would likely be very strong support. So if we do, for some reason, get some more bearish news this year and 2023 winds up giving us another leg down, this is an area that we can look for some support. But the idea of this video was to kind of look more at the bullish case because the charts are starting to give some bullish signals. But you got to add that caveat and you got to show the bear case because, like I said, anything can happen in these markets, especially with the macroeconomic environment we're in. So I just wanted to break this stuff down and kind of give you guys my basic idea of where I stand on Bitcoin, what I'm seeing on the charts, and if we do get another move down, where I'd be looking at for some support. So I hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure to smash that like button and leave a comment down below. Do you think the bottom is in? Do you think these bullish signals are going to actually give us a move to the upside? Or do you think 2023 is going to be more doom and gloom and we're going to make lower lows? Are you in the 3K BTC club? Definitely let me know, guys. And with all that being said, that's all I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candle's out.
Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Master